All right. Welcome to another episode of The Clown World. I am your host, the Sergeant. I've got the lovely Hera with me as always. Hera, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. A little bit under the weather, but you know what? It's been a long time since we've been able to put something together for people to listen to, so I'm excited.
Yeah, that's what happens when when you break your foot and dislocate it and and tear ligaments and all. That's what happened to me.
Yeah, viewers, he's had a rough go at it for the last couple of weeks, but we are here and we are ready.
And we're back. We're back. All right. So we've got a lot to talk about today. We've got UFOs. We've got these audits happening. We've got the first arrest is going to shock the world. The possibility there, we're going to touch on that, and I don't know, a couple other things. But let's just dive right in here. What do you want to launch with first? I think UFOs, right?
UFOs, and there's a reason why I want to go for that first.
Let's hear it.
You know, Sergeant, I sent you a text earlier, and it was a meme. And it was basically, was it a frog on a tree or something? It was something, and it said, all your conspiracy theorist friends are right. It's time to apologize.
Here's
okay.
A song I wrote called "Your Conspiracy Theorist Friend Was Right, and You Owe Them an Apology." Yes, yeah.
Right. So this is all connected, and everybody now is talking about the UFOs. I mean, they've been talking about UFOs for a while, but it was always just sort of hearsay and what if and like those kooky shows on TV. But those of us who, I'm not even going to call us conspiracy theorists because that puts a really negative spin on it. Truth tellers. That's what we are. Truth tellers. The people that can see through the mirage. We've been talking about UFOs for a while. And along with all the other stuff that's coming out on mainstream news, leaking out slowly, which we've been saying for what? How long? You know, it's finally coming out. Now everybody's talking about this. And the Pentagon has actually confirmed this. So it's like, we don't seem so crazy anymore, do we?
No, not at all.
So. I mean, the Pentagon confirmed what, like nine UFOs, like west of Omaha, through San Diego or something like that. That's where they confirmed them. What else do you know about the authorities' confirmations about UFOs?
Well, so we've got what you just mentioned. Not only just that, but we've also got that has also been reported that UFOs have been tracked via radar underwater, doing up to 100 knots underwater, traveling at 100 knots.
Oh yeah,
which is just mind-boggling to me. We have that. We have UFOs that would. There's been reports of UFOs that were, at the top of the atmosphere, and then they would dive down at faster than the speed of sound and dive into the water. And I mean, it's to me, I'm just like, okay, like this whole UFO thing coming out, blah, 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 intel being released. I'm just like, meh, whatever. Like, watch the audits.
That's what, yes, exactly. Why now? So UFOs have been around forever, and apparently the Pentagon and the Defense Department has confirmed like leaked photos and videos of this. It was taken in 2019, and there's 3 different shapes of the object. So sphere shapes, acorn shapes, and like a metallic blimp shape. And so obviously,
triangular shaped as well.
Yes. And so we all know now, we can theorize about what the UFOs actually are if you want my opinion, and I've shared this with you, Sergeant, already. But UFOs, what we talk about when we say aliens, we usually are referring to sort of like what we've seen in those sci-fi movies. And there might be a little bit of truth to that. But in my opinion, what we call aliens are actually, they've been in existence before we have, and they're actually fallen angels, if you will, that morphed into ugly beings. And the stories that you tell, or that you hear about abductions and how evil they are. I mean, as they fell further and further away from heaven, they got uglier and uglier and more evil and evil, and then they mated with humans, and that's how you had giants. And this is all, by the way, all of this, for people out there rolling your eyes, it's all in the scriptures. It's in the Bible. It's very clear. And it's also in historical texts that are surrounding the Bible. And it's just, that's what it is to me. They can move throughout time and space. They have intelligence that we don't have. They have an agenda. But on the upside, I mean, there's also angels that are not fallen, that are on fighting for the right side. So I'm not like intimidated by this whole alien thing, but we've known that they've been around forever, and so is the Pentagon. So the question is, why now are they confirming it? Me, I think it's a sideshow. I think it's a distraction, just like you said, because what else is going on? Sergeant, what else could they be wanting to distract from?
Well, like I said, we've got an audits happening. I mean, of course, everyone already knows about Maricopa County. Last I checked, they had just cleared counting 1 million ballots total, which was yesterday. We've got the audit happening in New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Michigan is trying to audit as well. Who else? Fulton County in Georgia is supposed to be starting an audit as well. So, I mean, places, states a bunch of states are starting to audit. The dominoes are starting to are lighting up and will be falling very shortly. So it's a distraction. It's like, hey, it's like what a magician does. Sleight of hand. Look over here, and look over here, be distracted by this while this is going on over here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. Go on. Sorry.
no, so and I mean, if there's one thing we've learned throughout history is people are easily distracted. Easily. It's easily to manipulate people into looking away from something, what is really happening, what is the important thing that is actually going on, especially now with all of the technology that we have now. It used to be, in, let's say, the 30s, it'd be a little bit harder, because there wasn't television, there wasn't computers, there wasn't cell phones, yada yada yada. Back then it was just the radio. The radio and newspapers, um, and that's where people got all their information from, and that was how what was used to manipulate people then. With the growth of technology throughout history, then it became the television. Then it went from television, to the silver screen, to movies, or to theaters, to moving forward, to the computer age, when we had computers and the internet. And now, I mean, we've got cell phones. We have many computers in the palms of our hand. On average, people spend anywhere from 4 to 8 hours a day on their phones. So there are plenty of mediums for the deep state to use to distract people with. It's just never been easier. It's never been easier. The CIA has implemented operations to do things like this. It's been released. It's documented. It's been released. The intel has been unsealed, and sadly, people are still sleepwalking through this. Lots of them. Now, granted, I do believe that we are definitely in the Great Awakening, and more people are waking up with each growing moment, each day. But there is still a lot. There are still a lot of people that are sleepwalking, and um, they're not ascending to the next plane, to the next dimension. They're stuck in 3D. You know, but,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, it's frustrating, but at the same time, it's like, what can you do? What can you do? You All we can do is what we've been doing. Scream it from the top.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing our part, absolutely. And something you said on social media kind of resonated with me. It's like, you've been saying these things for a while now, and now that it's starting to leak out on the mainstream news owned by the same billionaire families that are responsible for destroying the earth, now that it's finally coming out there, now it's all of a sudden got some validity, but then people like us have been saying it forever, for a long time. And particularly when it comes to COVID, because honestly, that should be the most glaring quote unquote conspiracy. It breaks my mind trying to wrap my head around the way people just do not see. And so while there's all these audits are going on, and Democrats and crooked Republicans are doing everything they can to, sidestep it, press lawsuits against it, and heck, go in and even delete or steal information before it can be, analyzed. They're still happening. And that's the thing about this. The truth is going to come out eventually. Now, evil has a way of suppressing the truth for quite some time, but in the end, it is the truth and it will win. And so it's finally coming out. But like UFOs, all right, we were right. Now you see it. Okay, guess what? We were also right about the election. Audits, they're trying to hide it. Wait till it comes out. We were right. You'll see it. And then when it comes to COVID, I feel like this is going to be a tough one to swallow, because at this time, millions of you people have gone out to go get your, I'm not even going to say the V word because I don't want to get flagged, but you've gone out to go get the jab twice. And the logic surrounding this, it just doesn't make sense. And, it had COVID already. The news and the CDC, which is sad because in my line of work, that was like our staple, but I don't trust them. It's so highly politicized, and the money that they get, the grants that they get, please don't ever confuse yourself into thinking that they don't play a role in what is allowed to be said and studied. It does. I know this. So I don't trust that anymore, because throughout all of time, if you acquired a virus, you do have lifetime immunity. That doesn't mean you're not going to get the virus again. That doesn't mean that was a vaccine. It doesn't. It means if you come into contact with that virus again, your symptomology will be lessened. You already have the arsenal set up and programmed in your body to fight that specific viral strain with that specific genetic code, right? And so why all of a sudden are people believing that I've already had COVID and I beat it, but now I need to go get the vaccine? What? When have we ever done that? Well, the immunity just doesn't last very long. Actually, it's a lifetime immunity unless COVID is the one virus in the entire world throughout all humanity that behaves differently. And if it is that, then we must go ahead and conclude that it was man-made, because that's not how natural viruses work. So pick one. Or maybe if you go get your vaccine and they're telling you might have to get a booster shot, well, what does that suggest? Doesn't that kind of suggest that immunity is not permanent even with the vaccine if you have to keep doing it over and over again? I mean, come on, natural immunity is always better, period. At least for a, naturally made virus. Oh, and that's the other thing, Sergeant. Haven't we been saying since it started that this virus did not come from a bat, that it was man-made, lab-made. We've been saying it over and over and over and over, and that was deemed as, conspiracy. And now what are they saying on the news? What are they investigating right now? The origins of COVID. And what are the scientists saying? There's two possibilities. It came from a human interacting with an infected animal, or it was man-made. Okay, so are we dumb now? And these people out here, these politicians are bribing with millions of dollars the public to get this shot. That doesn't make any damn sense. I mean, it doesn't. If something is so good and so safe, why do you have to coerce people into getting it? Yeah. Why do employers have to
115 million in California for the COVID lottery? 115 million.
What does that say?
We're going to pick 10 winners, 15 million each.
No, okay, so just trying to be unbiased and objective to you, what does that say to you?
It says to me not to get the damn vaccine already. I mean, like I wasn't going to get it anyways. I'm still not going to get it, but it just says that people aren't getting it, as many as they thought. And they're desperate. Like, they're desperate for these people to get it. Why are they so desperate? Like, what I find funny is Bill Gates, the leading scientist in the world, says
right.
Says that we need 90% of the world's population needs to get vaccinated before we can go back to normal. And I find it ironic that the Georgia Guidestones says that we need to reduce the world's population by 90%.
Isn't that interesting?
I don't know. It could be nothing.
It's really coincidental.
Could be nothing, could be nothing. Could be nothing.
Well, that woman who said that she was appointed at a special, like a certain position in Canada, and that they will not be working with the government corporation as we know it, and that they are going to deem this jab as a violation against human rights, citing the Nuremberg Code, and that anybody that's responsible for coercing or administering it at some point may be tried in military court. I don't know how legit that is. I really don't. So I'm not going to claim to say that it's true, but I mean, I do know we will find out. However, I will say that with something surrounding so much controversy surrounding this, you tell me in your life, viewers, when you've had to be bribed for something that was really good for you. Something that's really good for you. Did you really have to be bribed that hard? Did you have to be threatened by employers or, different elites or politicians saying that, you shouldn't be allowed to travel, you shouldn't be allowed to be interviewed or hired for jobs if you're unvaccinated? And another thing is that I saw, I don't know what these things were called. It was a clip. It was one from China, and they had these little box cars with one little window, and people's heads were kind of poking out to see what was going on outside. And yes, all of the people I saw there were people of color, namely Black folks. And, we know how they roll over there in China. Let's not get it twisted. Muslims are in trouble over there. Christians, yes, African Americans, or not African Americans, just Black men and women, period. That place is not a kind place for human rights. It just so happens that any evidence in the Wuhan lab has been completely destroyed. But yeah, I saw these
tornadoes that ripped through Wuhan.
Yeah, isn't that unusual? Just ripped right through, and perfect timing, right before the probe for the origins of COVID. It's just so timely and lovely. How all of these things work out so perfectly, I just can't get it.
And to add to what you just said about the I guess they'd be trailers.
Yeah.
They're trailers. They looked like white, like trailers. And that is where they are holding people in China. But to add to that is there have been videos that have been floating around of the said trailers on a train here in the States, specifically in Alabama.
But why are they here? What are they for? I mean, you hear the way they speak about, I'm talking about people who are, brainwashed, and people who are subscribing to this narrative, and basically our enemy of the state elites. You hear how they speak about the unvaccinated, like we're a plague or something, and then we have these little, I don't know why I call them boxcars, probably from a book I read when I was a child, or what have you, that look identical to the ones that are in China, and the ones, that are used to hold people as prisoners. Now, I'm not sure what they're holding them there for in China. Is that because they're unvaccinated? Oh no, they don't want all that. They don't have free rights over there. Is it religious reason? Like, I don't know what those people were being held for, so to speak, but this is not good. This is not good. This should be everybody should be paying attention to this and getting ready in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how. Like, I don't pervert any violence or anything like that. But like, in some way, you need to be thinking of a way to resist. All those people that were saying resist when Trump was elected, like resist the patriarchy. Well, now's your time to shine. Now you need to resist this, because this is way worse than some mean tweets that, hurt some feelings on Twitter from Trump. This is not a game. And I'm not actually, the thing about me is, like, I'm not scared. I don't know if I'm coming off that way. I'm not scared of this at all, because I don't live in fear. The same way I'm not afraid of COVID. I'm not afraid of the people, are talking about shedding of the virus and strange side effects of being around those who are vaccinated. I'm not afraid of any of that. Like, whatever is going to come is going to come. Now, I'm frustrated. That's what I say. I'm frustrated because I know that the time's going to come where you're going to have to make a decision. I've made mine, and I can't believe people can't see through this. So basically, like I said before, Sergeant, if any of you out there ever wondered whether or not you would stand up in Germany, and in the past, if you ever wondered if you'd stand up and say this is wrong or whatever, you have your answer now. You have your answer. And if you're bending and you're not doing your own research, you're not even asking a single question, and you're not even putting pieces together, like, oh wait, this person I called crazy said this a year ago, and now they're saying it's true. Oh, and the UFOs too. Oh my gosh, and all the deaths from this vaccine being more than, what is it? Was it the last 15 years of the major vaccines? More people have died in 3 months from this one. They're not allowing any dissent. It's man-made. They said it was man-made, and they told us that was impossible, but now they're saying it's a possibility, and they're going to launch an investigation. What does it have to take, people? What does it have to take?
It's a great question right there. That is a great question. I mean, how far do you got to be? Does society got to be pushed back before society starts doing the pushing back? I mean, once this first domino falls, which obviously is going to be Maricopa,
Yeah.
and then the next domino and so on and so forth. Like, I mean, what do we sit here? Do we sit here through this bullshit that's going on? Because I'm not going to sit here and say that Biden's president, because we all know he's not fucking president.
He's not.
Which leads is a good segue. It leads us kind of into what Q said. The first arrest will shock the world. So I have been hearing and reading that the first arrest could be Uncle Donnie T, baby. It could be Uncle Donnie T.
All right. Sergeant, go ahead and expand on that. Take it away and explain why we're even mentioning this. What's the good that can come out of that?
Well, let me just start. I'll just start with the beginning. So, from a number of sources and that I have, this idea is just being floating or is being floated around right now that the first arrest could be Uncle Donnie T. Why is that being floated around? Well, we all know that the crooked state attorney in New York is looking into the Trump organization. And well, we know that Democrats, specifically liberal Democrats, or shit, I mean, I guess we can just throw them all together in one right now, have no problem falsifying documents whatsoever, falsifying FISA warrants, etc. Hell, they put General Flynn in jail for nothing.
So, exactly. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
Stop them from doing the same. Now,
nothing.
Nothing. Now, when we say Uncle Donnie T could be the first arrest, like, don't get us twisted. We, Hera and I do not think that Uncle Donnie is complicit in this at all. We think it will be, if it does, personally, I think if it does happen, it will be bogus. But Hera and I collectively decided that this was a train that we needed to get out in front of for a multitude of reasons, because if it does happen, I don't want to say when, I almost said when, but if it does happen, I'm just going to point to this podcast and be like, look, fuckface, we already talked about this. So nice try, move along. But my thoughts are, pull up on him, try it. Like, first of all, he has his own security that, I mean, God knows what their backgrounds are. I'm sure they've done some crazy shit and they've served, And then, obviously, he has his own Secret Service agents protecting him as well. Not to mention, he has control of the military. The military is behind Uncle Donnie T. So, I'm for one am thinking this, if this did happen, this would be the straw that breaks the camel's backs, figuratively speaking.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this would be it.
You don't poke a bull.
No.
You don't do it. And if you keep doing it, it's gonna turn back and rear its fucking ugly head in your face. And look, I understand that over this last year, the most amount of guns in history has been sold in America. Like,
Yep.
and I understand that each side has gone out and purchased a lot of guns. I understand that. But guess what? There's only one side that's patriotic. There's
For
only
sure.
one side that's patriotic. And guess what? Most of the ex-military backs him. Even the former military backs him. Even people that have already served, that are retired, that have been discharged, they back him. So are you going to sit here and tell me that these people, former and current, that back him are just going to sit aside and let this happen? Hell no.
No.
Hell
No.
to the
Because
no.
they know if that does happen, they know what it means. And I'm not just talking about military. These people need to realize that just because they falsified and cheated in an election doesn't mean that those voters that they wiped away don't exist anymore. Trump won. You guys were successful in covering it up for now. That doesn't change the fact that there are more people.
I wouldn't say they were successful in covering it up, but you know.
I said for now. For now. I mean, that's they were. I mean, gotta give it. It's true. But now, I mean, now hopefully it's starting to unravel. But just because you cheated and got what you wanted, please don't forget that the majority of people voted for Trump by a landslide. So you're not going to just be agitating the military that supports Trump, and turn their back on Biden when he was doing his fake presidential drive. But also the citizens. And this is not China. This is not Canada. This is the United States. And honestly, we will take some of it because we're used to it. It's an ongoing joke that politicians are crooked. We're used to it. But there does come a point, and I think we're reaching that point. I think everybody feels it, that you simply can't take anymore, and it's time to revolt. And
I just hope my foot's healed by then, you know.
well, I think you got plenty of time to heal. I don't think it's going to happen like soon, but I mean, relatively soon. I do. I don't know why, but I keep saying by the end of October. And shout out, by the way, if you guys don't watch Tori Says, you need to. She has some brilliant points.
Yes.
And she's been right about everything. And yeah, she's on multiple different mediums, but you know, you can check her out. Her podcasts are very long, but that's because she goes into so much detail about history and science, and you know, it's very, very interesting, and she's spot on. It just so happens that for some reason, before I saw the or listened to the episode that is relevant to what I'm saying, I just had something pop in my mind, probably because of some 17 posts that reference Red October and the hunters become the hunted. I just had a feeling, you know, that it's going to be by the end of October, but not like now, not next week. And then it just so happened that I listened to her podcast that was talking about this, and she said something along the lines of, you know, if it hasn't happened by the end of October, it's not going to, or something like that. And I was like, wow, that's weird. So that's what I think. But, you know, basically there's an understanding that the next moves that we're going to see on behalf of the war between the white hats and the black hats is going to be something that we feel we cannot come back from. It's going to be something so devastating to us that we're going to feel like it's lost, it's done. And that could possibly be the first arrest, which could possibly be Trump. Now, it's not going to stick. He's going to play along, you know, This has already been played out with quantum technology. Every move, every chess move has been played out already. And nothing can stop it. So, I'm not worried about it, but the emotions that we're going to feel in the meantime, that'll be the part that's disturbing. And it could be, but it also might be someone else. It could be Obama, it could be Clinton, it could be Biden, it could be someone from the royal family, it could be Bill Gates, it could be Fauci. I don't know. But I think, the next things that we see are going to be something that really wear down on our morale, because it's going to look so hopeless. But it's not hopeless. It's a part of the game. It's a part of the game. It's already been played out. So don't fret. You heard it here. This could be a possibility. Don't fret. And I think that's a good way to sort of send off this podcast, and maybe pick back up on a different podcast, unless you have something, Sergeant, that you would like to add, or something else that you want to talk
No,
about.
I think good send off. Just to let everyone knows. Let everyone know. Sorry. All right. First of all, I just want to let you guys, our listeners, know. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for supporting us and listening. We're still very green with this. I'm sorry we've been absent for a bit. I totally take full blame on that. Also, if it does seem like I am a bit out of it right now, that's because I am. I am on these little things here.
Oh God!
And
Don't shake the bottle.
These little things here,
that's a mating call. That's a mating call in some areas of the country. Don't shake that bottle.
God, right? Yeah, seriously. But yeah, so little loopy, little loopy loop. And yeah, I've been laying on my back for the last, almost 2 weeks now, with my leg elevated. So yeah, it hasn't been too fun. So I apologize about that. But also, so Hera mentioned Tori. Tori is awesome. Her podcast, her podcast is Tori Says, and you can find that on YouTube, or you can just go to any search engine. We prefer DuckDuckGo, but her name is spelled Tore. For those of you, in case you do want to go look it up, it's Tore, and it's Toresays. And you'll easily be able to find it. Her podcasts are long, like Hera said. Some of them reach up to like 2 hours or even longer. But
longer, yeah.
She knows her shit. She is on top of it, and it's worth checking out. Another favorite of ours is X22. We love X22 Report. Very well informed podcast there, and yeah. But this is Hera and Sergeant. We're signing off. Hera, thanks again for joining me. It's always a pleasure, and we will be checking in back with you guys here. We're gonna check back in tomorrow. We're gonna check in tomorrow. Oh, and buy AMC. Buy it. Buy AMC stock.
We'll be checking back very soon. And we will not leave you hanging.
Yeah. All right, guys. You all have a good one. Hera, I will talk to you shortly. Love. Always a pleasure.
All right. Feel better.
You know it.
All right. Bye.